नमस्कार, जय हिंद, जय भारत एंड वेलकम टू डेव टॉक्स। दिस इज आदि अचिंत। मेरे साथ हैं अरिंदम साहब। हार्टलैंड अरी हैं। हार्टलैंड मतलब नाम में
हार्टलैंड
भी
एरी।
अपना नाम ही चेंज करा लो यार अभी।
जो नाम हार्टलैंड एरी रख ले क्या?
नहीं नहीं, अरिंदम हार्टलैंड मुखर्जी कर लो।
या या दैट्स अ गुड आइडिया एक्चुअली.
ठीक है, पुट इट देयर। Anyways,
Hmm.
we are here to showcase his book. Very interesting. I have started
Yes.
reading 2 chapters मैं पढ़ चुका हूँ अभी. So it's a very interesting book because ये the games of geopolitics. It's called the contour of the great game. Now आप सबको पता होगा गेम इज वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट वर्ड्स। हर दूसरे उसके ऊपर होता है मेरा थंबनेल के ऊपर बिकॉज इट्स एक्चुअली अ गेम। इट्स अ गेम ऑफ कंट्रोल, इट्स अ गेम
Yeah.
ऑफ एक्सेस, इट्स अ गेम ऑफ सी रूट्स, इट्स अ गेम ऑफ लैंड रूट्स, स्पोर्ट्स एंड दिस एंड दैट। एंड बिफोर आई हैंड इट ओवर टू अरिंदम साहब, मैं एक छोटी सी
Hmm.
अंडरस्टैंडिंग सबके दिमाग में रखना चाहता हूँ कि फ्रॉम द 17th टू द 18th सेंचुरी जब वेस्टर्न पावर्स ने दे स्टार्टेड ट्राइंग टू कंट्रोल द वर्ल्ड। The saying was, those who control the seas control the world. ठीक है, तो they all built up big navies and this and that, and they went all over the place, expeditions from the straight from the 14th century. They started doing all that. And उसके बाद हुआ क्या कि the thing became from sea routes to resources and the transfer of resources through these sea routes, right? So थोड़ा सा shift हुआ because local politics started coming into play. And आज वही चीज oil, rare earth एंड आगे भी ऐसी चीजें चलती रहेंगी। अब रेयर अर्थ किसके लिए चाहिए? एआई के लिए। तो इट्स जस्ट दैट सेम गेम व्हिच इज बीइंग प्लेड टुडे। ओनली थिंग इज सर्टेन एरियाज जो उस टाइम पे बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट थे, सम एरियाज आर स्टिल इंपॉर्टेंट, सम मोर एरियाज हैव जॉइंड इनटू द प्ले टुडे। तो जियोपॉलिटिकल गेम कैसे चलती है? अरिंदर भाई, व्हाट मेड यू राइट दिस? आई मीन इट्स अ ब्यूटीफुल, वेरी वेल रिटन बुक। फर्स्ट टू
Thank you so
चैप्टर्स
much.
I've actually gone through. Tertiary reading I gave it, but I said, yeah, let me just read it properly.
Hmm.
And these kind of stuff interests me. आपको पता ही है। तो what made you write this?
Hey, namaskar to all your viewers. Jai Guru to all your viewers. I hope you all are doing well. Um, uh, what made me write this book? See, I have always been interested about global politics. तो आपको पता है ना, the first time we interacted आज से couple of years back when we were talking and I said that मेरे को domestic politics में interest नहीं है. I mean, there could be a good or bad about it, but that's the way it is. I have always been interested about global politics. That's one of the prime motivations. And why I wrote this book is पिछले 2-3 साल में या पिछले 5-6 साल में, 2-3 साल में, 5-6 साल में, there has been a tremendous amount of interest in the Indian subcontinental audience to understand what is going on around the world, and
As
which
we
is
grow and come to a certain level,
as we become more assertive, as we reach a different height in the global platform, in the regional platform, तो ये आ गया है Indians पे. अब ऐसा है कि when you there is this something which is called circumambulation. When you first learn to play a musical instrument, a guitar or a piano or something, your notes are all over the place because you don't know which exact keys to touch to get that right kind of a sound. That is a stage which is usually called circumambulation. तो अभी a lot of us are in that stage. So हम लोग कहीं से भी कुछ से भी जहां से जो कुछ भी मिले हम लोग सुनने का कोशिश कर रहे हैं इन ऑर्डर टू गेन एंड बिकॉज वी आर सेल्फ टॉट दैट वे इंटरनेट के थ्रू गूगल के थ्रू यूट्यूब चैनल्स के थ्रू पॉडकास्ट के थ्रू वी आर सेल्फ टॉट वाई बिकॉज इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ आर ह्यूमंगस अमाउंट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट इन ग्लोबल पॉलिटिक्स तो हम लोग जहां से भी हो जो भी हो इंफॉर्मेशन ले रहे हैं तो वी आर सर्कमएम्बुलेटिंग सर्कमएम्बुलेट करते करते क्या होता है once you start playing the piano आपका keys and notes are all over the place over a period of time 6 महीना 7 महीना प्रैक्टिस करने के बाद you become precise. This book aims to be that kind of a tool in India which tries to help you to narrow down your search into finding out exactly what is it that you're looking for. This book, so in other words, this book is probably the first of its kind in India, a non-academic book which is trying to clear the clutter, which is trying to cut the clutter of the global chaos that is right in front of our eyes, and to, take a few steps back, or to help you take a few steps back and to help you understand जिसको आप chaos समझ रहे हो, which is actually a huge chessboard, as Brzezinski had said आज से 50 साल पहले. It's a giant chessboard which is there on the global stage, and we all are players. And that's one giant chessboard. ये नहीं कि उसमें सिर्फ 64 घर है. This is a giant chessboard with endless number of ghar, and every time every new angles and things are being added, and new players are getting into the game, and it is increasing the complexity of the game.
Yeah.
And to ascertain that grand chessboard of global geopolitics, to help Indians and to help them understand the underlying motivations that are in play. And I am saying this with, I'm choosing my words very carefully, motivations that are at play, that have so far determined the fate of the planet, and that have determined the fate of billions of people living in it.
Yeah.
So this is a book, probably the only book abhi jo mere dimag mein hai, and I was talking to Blue One when we were discussing about it, that a book which uses the word geopolitics in its subtitle. आसपास में, मतलब एटलीस्ट इंडिया में हो सकता है. आई हैवंट डन अ रिसर्च ऑन दैट, बट मुझे पता नहीं है. ओके, सो देयर आर बुक्स ऑन propaganda, there are books on warfare, there are books on this, that, everything, but not a book which directly uses the word geopolitics or geopolitical order. The subtitle of the book, the main title, Contours of the Greater Game, is my creation. Lekin the subtitle is very basic, certain facts which actually are a giveaway.
Which are reality.
Access, control, and orders. Any empire that aspires supremacy, that has always aimed for expansion, its basic physical activity has been to gain access to large swaths of land. So it is access. वो आप रोम बोलो, आप पर्शिया बोलो, आप कुछ भी बोलो. Okay, it has always been to जितना भी हो सके land acquire करो, expand करो, and then you enforce certain measures to control those large swaths of land. In the same way you establish a control over your core central region, you also aim to establish a control over your tertiary, your peripheral region. और इसके चक्कर में, ये करने के कोशिश में, in hindsight they have created what we call today orders. So you had the Roman Empire. Yeah, so you had a Roman order, a Roman Empire, and then you had which got overturned, which got toppled by Christianity, and then came in the Dark Ages, and the Christian order aa gaya. So were they trying to set up an order? I don't know. I mean, were they consciously trying to set up an order? I don't know. But when we look back at that, आज से मतलब 2000 साल पहले का बात, 1500 साल पहले का बात जब हम लोग देखते हैं, तो लगता है कि हाँ, उसको अपेंड करके there was only one order that existed back in then during that time, and it was the, if you could call, ठीक है, not political, but then again that is debatable, a non-political, at least a non-military order, which was the Roman Christian order. So this, and there is no good or bad about it. This is the primal motivation. This is the only way of creating a legacy. Legacy, जो भी इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे बोलो, नेशनल लेवल पे बोलो, इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे बोलो, कॉर्पोरेट में बोलो, पॉलिटिक्स में बोलो, जो कोई भी अपना लेगेसी बनाना चाहते हैं, you have to create a mechanism of access. You have to create a mechanism of control.
Yeah.
And Roman Christianity, or later on globalization, they did just that, or they are doing just that. A lot of us believe that that's not a good thing, but this book doesn't concern good or bad. It opens up the way things have been. So that's, you could say that, these are the things which आपके साथ बहुत discussion हुआ है. We've had number of chats. That has been a big trigger. So a large number of Def Talks viewers, those who have been watching our chats, मेरा और आदि भाई का जो जितना भी videos आए हैं, अगर आप देखे हैं, तो you would find some amount of resonance in the first 2 chapters. उसके बाद और बहुत सारा चैप्टर है जिसको लेके probably me and Adi, we did not have a discussion, उसको भी, because the book had to be completed. But yeah, you would find certain elements of familiarity, at least in the first 2 chapters, if you've noticed, if you've watched Def Talk podcast of Adi and me. So that's what motivates me. I thought that it is high time that, because Indian viewers are so charged up and so excited about it, they should understand, they should really understand what the game is. And I have tried in my own limited ways to give them an understanding of the game. Over to
Yeah,
you.
the larger game is obviously still, as we see. I mean, they say one of the biggest questions is, why is Trump angry with us? I mean, that's one of the biggest questions right now. Why is he pretty anti-India? And when you understand, आपको पता चलेगा how the resources flow and how the geopolitics works. Geopolitics is not just relations; it's actually survival for one country versus the other.
Hmm.
So then you will realize कि यार ये चक्कर क्या है? Because अभी जैसे for example, right now the most important thing for the Americans is to control the oil, right? And oil के साथ they need to control the rare earth.
Hmm.
So they will make all sorts of weird friends, all sorts of weird enemies will become friends time being के लिए, till the time that whole game comes into play. और वो हमको समझ में नहीं आता, and we say यार ये क्या हो रहा है? What's happening here? So when we actually look at that with a perspective of this, हमको थोड़ा बहुत ज़्यादा clear understanding मिलेगा कि why do things happen in a certain way. Uh, भारत भी कुछ जो चीजें करता है, why do we do it in a certain way and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So Arindam bhai, one thing I want to know is when you are looking at the world today, ठीक है?
Hmm.
पुराने टाइम पे यू लुक्ड एट आइडियोलॉजी एंड ये सब चीजें आती थी कि भाई ये इसकी आइडियोलॉजी क्या है ये कंट्री की, ये लिबरल डेमोक्रेसी है कि नहीं है, ये था वो था. नाउ दैट होल ऑर्डर हैज ब्रोकन डाउन. वुड यू एग्री?
बस आदि एक बात बताओ, it was for the rulers of the guys who determined the great game, let's say the
ठीक है.
players of the game. It was never about ideology, it was never about religion, it was always about access and control.
इट्स अ टूल.
It's a tool.
करेक्ट. हाँ.
Yeah.
सो व्हाट इज द
Now,
नेक्स्ट टूल?
uh, okay, if I stick to what the book is all about, if I stick to the angle that my book tries to explore, ये next tool को समझाने से पहले थोड़ा सा एक background दे दूं.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why
Okay.
because after towards the end, I mean, when I did the tertiary reading, I could
हाँ.
figure out that you were trying to come to that conclusion,
Yeah.
right? So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. So I'll take an example. I'll give you a societal example. Let's say viewers जो भी देख रहे हैं, let's say money is not a problem. आप अमीर हो, आपके पास बहुत सारे पैसा है, money is not a problem. Your father or your mother is suddenly undergone a medical condition. मान लो nothing serious but serious again, मान लो knee replacement या hip replacement करना है. Assuming that money is not a problem, what is it that you're going to do? What you're going to do is you're going to find out the best surgeon, the best doctor, जो सर्जरी सबसे अच्छा करते हैं. Okay, why? Because you have the money. Now, needless to say, because this is your family member, your father or your mother, his or her health is of paramount importance to you. You go and you find out the best doctor, you get the surgery done, and things are back to normal. Now, if I consider the doctor, by virtue of him being the best surgeon, आपके जैसा बहुत सारे और भी उनके पास आएंगे रिक्वेस्ट्स एंड ऑर्डर्स टू कैरी ऑन फर्दर सर्जरीज. So the more successful he is, the more success he draws. That sorts of create a positive loop for the doctor. And the more successful, because money is the only way of expressing our appreciation to someone in this society. Agar wo successful hai, so we keep paying him more money, so he becomes richer. So the more successful he is, the higher up he goes. ऐसे करते करते that doctor, that surgeon, along with few other very successful surgeon, creates a very successful, super successful tip of a pyramid. In the same way, a super successful cricketer like a Virat Kohli, with a super successful cricketer like a Sachin Tendulkar, with a super successful cricketer like, I don't know, Steve Waugh, Mark Waugh, they form a very elite tip of a very elaborate pyramid, which has got other players also. So that same doctor has got other doctors also. A football coach का भी तो ऐसे जो pyramid है, that has got other football coaches also. Players का भी, plumbers का भी, electricians का भी, computer programmers का भी, सबका. So each and every field where we go for seeking value always has a kind of a pyramid which is like this, where the top is populated by the highly productive and the guys that drive the basic funda of the pyramid, and then comes the very successful one, then comes the successful ones, then comes the not so successful one, so on and so forth. This I have learned from Dr. Jordan B. Peterson is called a hierarchy of competence.
Competence.
Yeah, hierarchy of competence. Now, each and every field has got its own hierarchy of competence. Hierarchy of competence is very Darwinian, क्योंकि आप अच्छा हो और आप अच्छा ढूंढ रहे हो तभी आप अच्छे के पास जाओगे, and that is the way it evolves, and it evolves in such a way that if somebody is good, he naturally migrates on his way up to the top. There are different, with few exception. ठीक है, आपने bad life choices लिए, आपने alcoholism में आप मतलब फंस गए, so you make wrong life choices, you go back, like something which happened to a lot of people. Vinod Kamble is the one example that comes to mind. Sachin and Vinod were moving parallelly at the same time, then one went up ahead and one sort of faded out and disappeared, but that's an exception. Usually what happens is, I am assuming you are good and you want to be good, you strive to be good. With a period of, over a period of time, over your share of success, you migrate to the top of the pyramid. So the question here is that now if there is somebody by the name of James Thompson, जिसको मैंने जिक्र किया है मैटर ऑफ contours of the great game में, जेम्स थॉम्सन का जो pyramid है, जेम्स थॉम्सन pyramid में he had identified that about 5 to 15%, अभी मुझे याद नहीं है, किताब में है, 5 to 15% of the top of the pyramid are the ones that lead, they innovate, they do everything, to which propels a sort of a society forward. The rest 75% or 80% or whatever, they are the also ran. कि हम लोग है साथ में, वैल्यू तो ऐड नहीं कर रहे, नेट कंट्रीब्यूटर्स टू द सोसाइटी ज्यादातर नहीं है, लेकिन हम लोग है. नाउ एक क्रिकेट टीम का अगर बात करें, तो क्रिकेट टीम में आप देखेंगे कि, या फुटबॉल टीम में आप देखेंगे, अगर आप सैंपल करते हो वो लोग का परफॉर्मेंस, तो आप देखोगे ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ 10-15 इयर्स यू वुड ओनली हैव वन लायनल मेसी और क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो हु इज द हाईएस्ट गोल स्कोरर. एक क्रिकेट टीम में देखोगे विराट कोहली और रोहित शर्मा हु इज द हाईएस्ट स्कोरर, बुमराह और somebody else who is the highest wicket taker, but there are 11 players. If you sample the entire gamut of the countries that are playing World Cup football today, you would only see about 8 to 10 countries that have won the World Cup. About 132, 140 odd countries start for the World Cup qualifiers, and then in the end, it's either Italy or Germany or Brazil or somebody else, Spain, amongst the known few players, known few teams that keep winning. That only drives this point कि भाई बहुत सारे होंगे और बहुत कम लोग एक मतलब टॉप में इमर्ज करेंगे. दैट्स द वे इट इज स्ट्रक्चर्ड. देयर इज नो गुड और बैड अबाउट इट. देयर इज नो रिगिंग. देयर इज नो पॉलिटिक्स. देयर इज नथिंग. दैट्स द वे इट हैपेंस. नाउ फुटबॉल टीम में भी ऐसे होता है. सो फॉर एवरी मेसी एंड फॉर एवरी इनिएस्टा, a large number of players that don't score a goal. But football team में क्या है? It is a curated structure. No matter how low you score, each and every player has got a definitive role to play in that team. Same goes for corporate. कॉर्पोरेट में जो होता है, सेल्स के बंदे लोग को सबसे ज्यादा इंक्रीमेंट मिलते हैं, वो लोग को सबसे ज्यादा शाबाशी मिलते हैं, वो लोग सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉफिट लाते हैं, वो लोग सबसे ज्यादा रेवेन्यू लाते हैं. जो ऑपरेशंस में बैठा है, जो अकाउंट्स में बैठा है, वो लोग लो प्रोफाइल मेंटेन करके बैठते हैं, बट दे आर इंपॉर्टेंट. व्हाई? बिकॉज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज अ क्यूरेटेड स्ट्रक्चर. एवरीबडी हैज गॉट अ रोल टू प्ले इन इट, बिग और स्मॉल. Problem happens when we talk about a society which is not a curated structure. So for every competence hierarchy and for every successful super top, you have a large number of people at the bottom of the pyramid that don't add any value. It might sound a little, off and racist, but I'm being absolutely clear. That's how it is. So you have a huge number of people that don't add value to the society. They are not net contributors. Their life choices are poor. At their level, emergencies are always higher up in number. They fade out very fast. और ऐसा इंटरेस्टिंग एक वो भी है, अगर मान लो आपके पास बहुत सारा पैसा है एंड इफ यू गॉट अ गाय हु लिव्स इन द स्ट्रीट, और आपने एक्सपेरिमेंट के तौर उसको 2 लाख रुपया दिया, बोला भाई तू अपना 2 लाख रुपया से यू ट्राई टू डू समथिंग गुड फॉर योर सेल्फ, आई कैन बेट माई लास्ट पेनी दैट इन 1 मंथ टाइम वो आदमी के पास आप वापस जाइए और पूछिए कि 2 लाख जो तेरे को दिया था क्या किया था, ही इज ऑलरेडी वेस्टेड दैट मनी.
Yeah.
That money has either been stolen from him, or he has smoked away that money, drugs, alcohol, whatever, or जुआ वुआ कुछ भी होगा, or he has purchased an iPhone which is again got stolen. Something like that has happened. Whatever it is, end of story. He doesn't have the money. You can't blame him. Why? Because he doesn't have the financial experience to know what to do with money. Which brings us back to a very, very basic point that money always has a tendency to flow up to the top. Money always flows up to the very successful people. आपका जो वो 2 लाख रुपया गया, शायद वो आपको वो जिसने आपको जिसको आपने 2 लाख रुपया दिया, आप उससे नहीं मिलेंगे आपको पैसा, but you would still get your incentive and you would still get your bonus, and somehow or the other you would earn that money back. Why? Because money flows to the top. So this bottom section of the pyramid,
That's natural.
That's the way it is. That's the way society is. That, as I said, that as long as we are out seeking value from the surroundings, we are always going to knowingly or unknowingly cascade a structure which is going to look like this. And this is pure competence based hierarchy. Now, there is another hierarchy which is called a hierarchy of dominance. कॉम्पिटेंस कोई मायना नहीं रखता, आई विल डोमिनेट बिकॉज आई कैन. इसका बहुत सारा डिटेल्स किताब में कॉन्टूर्स ऑफ द ग्रेट गेम में है, आप पढ़ लीजिए. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू द बेसिक. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द पॉइंट, ये सोसाइटी के नीचे जो रहते हैं, देयर इज अ लार्ज चंक ऑफ पीपल लिविंग इन द बॉटम ऑफ द सोसाइटी व्हिच आर ऑफ नो वैल्यू. तो इसको लेके क्या किया जाए? एंड पीपल थिंक दैट दे आर अ लायबिलिटी, बट टू द राइट माइंड दे आर अ मेजर एसेट. They are an asset to anyone who wants to topple an existing hierarchy to create a new hierarchy.
Regime change.
Yes. And this people at the bottom of the pyramid have time and time been used ever since the time of Christianity to today to upset an established hierarchy of competence. When Christianity spread, it spread amongst the lowest of the low of subaltern Rome. It was a simple message. Whatever happened, आप किताब में पढ़िएगा. Eventually, after Constantine accepted Christianity and established it as the religion of Rome, its game changed. वो भी वहां पे है. It toppled a hierarchy which was Rome, which was arguably the finest legal structured based hierarchy that humankind had ever witnessed. Then comes in something like the Russian Revolution. Okay, उसको भी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग उसको लेके है, which I've covered in the contours of Great Game. And उसको आप अगर पढ़ेंगे कि जेकब शिफ्ट ने पैसा दिया, लेनिन को नहीं तो जानेगा, ये नहीं मिलता, आपको एकदम पक्का पता चल जाएगा कि that was a color revolution.
That was one of the first actually.
Yeah, that was a revolution orchestrated by the Germans because of XYZ, whatever reason. So now what I'm saying is, Adi, coming back to your point, I still haven't, lost track of it. कि I have the bottom of the pyramid which I am using. अभी अगर wokeism देखेंगे या ये सब movement देखेंगे, most of them are mindless. Very basic idea, very low IQ नहीं बोलेंगे, sorry. Low profile.
Yeah.
Low profile.
You're being nice, but in any case.
Low profile, mass penetration idea, of a god, of one god, of whatever, God's son, of something like equity of outcome, कुछ भी बोलो, एक very low profile, high penetrating idea which is used to titillate the bottom of the pyramid into to getting them into action. Classless society. LGBTQ movement is also like that. Equity of outcome. मैंने पढ़ाई लिखाई क्या क्या मुझे पता नहीं. मैंने जाके वो साउथ अफ्रीकन नहीं, सेंट्रल अफ्रीकन ट्राइब्स के मेटिंग राइट्स के ऊपर मैंने पीएचडी किया, एंड नाउ आई एक्सपेक्ट अ जॉब व्हिच गिव्स मी 6 फिगर इनकम इन डॉलर्स. तो नहीं होता है. So but that is what it has been taught to these people, that no matter what you do, the outcome has to be equal. So equity of outcome, etc., low profile, high penetrative idea leke, the the bottom of the pyramid can always be manipulated to target a particular established hierarchy to overturn it, and it has happened a large number of times. So now I'm coming to my guess about what is going to happen, which is where Adi's question was. मुझे ना लगता है कि the global reset and the WEF and Klaus Schwab का वो जो निकल गया था, जो उसको जिसको सेंसर कर दिया गया, so on and so forth, this crypto deal which is coming is aiming to take away whatever resources the huge chunk of the world has, and to concentrate it amongst the very few set of people, which it already is, but at the same time eliminate the possibility of any idea which can titillate the bottom of the pyramid to rise and overturn the hierarchy that they are going to establish.
World
And
order should
that
not
is,
win.
yeah, so that they cannot disturb the whatever the order that these people are trying to build, and that is going to define the future of the coming of the global chaos in the next 20-25 years. Back
Yeah.
to you, Adi.
No, that's true, and it's basically sustenance. कि भाई किस तरह से we can just keep on doing what we're doing, which is, at the end of it,
Yeah, yeah.
not that easy to do.
Now we
But
keep on doing, and because we have seen in history that there is a chance that low profile, high penetration or ideas have often rallied people to sort of come together and overturn an established hierarchy, which could be a competence hierarchy or a dominant hierarchy. कुछ भी hierarchy हमने जो बनाया है, इसको ये topple ना कर पाए, इसीलिए take away that even that power of comprehension from them, and whatever modes can be used to make them mobilize again. So this
that's
is
true.
what they would be trying to do.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, guys, this is really interesting, I must say, and we should actually let me finish this book, and I think we should go on to the next phase of our conversations also,
Yeah.
because geopolitics of Central Asia and the region that you and me are interested in, that is now
Hmm.
pretty much coming out. ठीक है? तो it is time that I think वो West Asia से अभी Central Asia की तरफ हमको आना पड़ेगा. We will have to start understanding this region and actually doing something. Last thing, where all is it available? What all can people do to get it? Where do you want them to go? What just the regular stuff. So please tell us that so that people can also
They,
buy the damn thing and
okay.
read it.
This is available in Amazon. Amazon में मिल जाएंगे. Right now we've got the hard edition which has come out. Very soon there would be soft copies, and there would be ebooks and all for those who are staying outside India. A couple of my friends who are staying in UK had said that अभी UK में Amazon UK में available नहीं है. It would very soon be available. At least the e-version of it is something that you would get. So that is one thing, Amazon ke through. And Blue One has got a very robust distribution system. So one thing which once we were talking about the prospect of this book and all, tab Blue One ka my contact, a very nice gentleman by the name of Praveen Tiwari, उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि अरिंदम जी आप बेफिक्र रहिए. If the one thing that Blue One has is Blue One has got an extensive network, so airports and everywhere. So all these terminals and the airports and the big bookstore and all, wherever you're traveling, you can get your copy. So you can access your copy from the airport terminals also. So I'm hoping that give it a month's time, it would all be available across most of the major outlets, and you would get your copy in your local bookstore also.
Fantastic. That is one, and two is what next? You're writing something else? एक
I
खत्म नहीं हुई भाई माफ कर दे.
no. Good you raise the point. यहाँ पे मैं थोड़ा अपना बोल लूँ. See, this is a message for all the viewers. I know Adi has got like lakhs and lakhs of subscribers, and at least 40-50,000 तो मेरा वाला वीडियो देखते ही है. So my request to you is, I was waiting all all this while now this book is out, I am announcing myself open to be invited to different universities and colleges for talks and sessions on topics related to politics, international politics. So anybody who is associated, you please get in touch with me. So that's going to be my next thing. So I'm going to take up as much of speaking assignments as possible, because I know at the end of the day, the number of people that want to listen to, the number of people that want to watch would be more than the number of people that would want to read. That's the time that we live
Oh
in.
yeah, that is there. That is there. There's no
Yeah.
question about it.
Yeah. So yes, I would try
You know,
to.
the story of a book can be told in an hour, actually,
I would
but
try to do that. Yeah.
reading it takes much longer. So
Yeah. So I would be open to travel. I would be very willing to. I would love to, because मेरा ना professional life में I have got a fair amount of exposure in these different colleges like KIIT and Vignan and all of these places I have been to uh, as a guest faculty, as a trainer, to teach them uh, just before these guys were getting industry ready, to get them industry ready and so on. So I have
mm,
had my share of experience in visiting colleges, in delivering seminar and all, but that was a different thing, and this would be a different thing. So that's what my next aim is. And Adi, I would want to start writing a sequel to this, लेकिन वो शायद मैं next year में शुरू करूंगा, because I need to kind of mobilize my thoughts once again, because this book took me about 2 years.
mm.
So you need to sort of give yourself that kind of a space where you can
Because
manage to write
there's a
something.
lot as far as the channel of thought is concerned.
And it has to be, see, podcast में क्या होता है ना, podcast में हम लोग बैठते हैं, ऐसे अड्डा मारते हैं, तो there are a lot of back and forth that happens. There are a lot of ideas which are not cooked properly, which we can share with each other and also with viewers. But when you're writing a book, it has to be foolproof.
Yeah.
So उसको लेके थोड़ा सा भी तो time चाहिए. So I think I'll take a couple of months time at least and start thinking about what is it that I'm going to write as a sequel to this. I'll start thinking in 2026, not now. Right now, at least time for action. So once the book is out, now I'm ready to travel. So I'll go wherever I'm invited and interact, and that's what the target is right now.
So that's great. Thank you so much for this, yeah, beautiful book, and I'm sure I'm gonna
Thank
have a
you.
great time finishing it. And then, as I said, we should catch up after that to have more rounds of our discussion. But guys,
Yes.
support the book and support these efforts. Very, very important. Thank you so much, Arindam bhai, for your time and your effort. Always a pleasure to
Thank you
have you
for
on the
having
channel.
me. Great to be here. Great to be here, and thank you for this platform, Adi. It's done. I'll be honest. It has done. I have written in the acknowledgement, as you've seen. It has done a wonderful job in sort of crystallizing my thoughts, so that I could even start thinking of writing a book, which is what happened after I have met you, and after we started all these discussions and all. So thanks for that. You've been
My,
a big catalyst as far as this book is concerned.
thank you so much. Thank you
Thanks.
for the acknowledgement. Bye bye.
Bye.